Hello, everybody, and welcome back to M&J Games. I am Michael, and today we're doing a coaster spotlight. We're doing it a little bit different, as there's just one creator on PlayStation who makes a ton of different individual coasters and really tries some new inventive things. And we're actually going to be looking at 5 to 6 different Boomerang coasters today. So it could be Vekoma and stuff like that. Could be an inverted Boomerang. But today, this first one is a Premier Rides one. And what I love about this is, first of all, the realism. You got the tanks, you got the transfer track. There's a little, what looks like a little operation station there to do what they need to do with the transfer track. Maybe the next thing is adding a little cable box here on. Ooh, I like that little dip down. I didn't realize that before. So then we got a loop, and check out these custom supports. Those are awesome. And then here, and I love the over 90-degree drop. Is that's cool. And then this part, like, I feel like that'd be pretty intense if you're on the front. Kind of the degree to which you have that incline. So that is really cool. But we're not going to take a ton of time with each one because I don't want this video to be super long. But we've seen what it looks like, so now let's go ahead and take a ride on the coaster. Or you know what, before we do that, let's look at the stats real quick. So if we look at the stats, it's launch core or torque. Stats are fantastic. Vertical G-forces, look at the laterals, but I mean, again, that makes sense because it literally goes straight the whole time. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and take a ride on the coaster. So I just got done looking at the Premier Rides Boomerang, and I'm just impressed with how smooth this creator's coasters are. But as you can see, there's technically 5 coasters in this park, which this one's actually pretty cool and unique. It looks like an RMC, but it's actually the bobsled track, so that's pretty cool and unique. But this is the one we're looking at. Is we're going to look at this inverted Boomerang, and what's unique about this is 2 things. You've got this right here, and then you've got a little pop of airtime like a speed hill, and then this very interesting top hat. So let's put this in test mode. I don't know why it's turned on because there's nobody in the park. But these are actually, is this the one where it's double-sided? I wonder if, do they have that in the game? No, they all face one way. The one in real life that's at Kings Island, it's got the double-sided seats. It's pretty intense coaster. There we go. That looks really cool. So this would be a Vekoma inverted Boomerang. And if we take a look at these stats, just really interesting with this track, how it's got that kind of double pipe. Once again, everything's all green, which is great. G-forces look good. I mean, max speed 58 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and take a ride on the coaster. What amazes me with this creator, and now that I think about it, I don't think I said the creator's name at the beginning. So this was made by Astro underscore King 808, I believe is the name. And I mean, you would have seen the name and the description of the video and stuff like that. But what I love about the way this creator makes coasters is he takes unique elements and he still makes them incredibly smooth. Like there was no kind of hitch or awkwardness to any part of this ride. And so I think that was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, so this little centerpiece here was actually made by There's Only One Rob, and it's on the workshop. If anybody wants to download that, because I use that exact piece in my park a bit. But yeah, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Now, for this next one, we have a more traditional looking boomerang, at least with the first part, called Wonder Woman. But it's interesting, small trains as it only has 5 cars, so it can only hold 20 guests. Um, but look at the layout. Incredibly unique, incredibly long. I'm just going to be interested to see if this is a completely smooth coaster and also how the pacing feels, because this is crazy that's able to make it through all of this, because you can't make anything too high off the ground, because if you go through that at the beginning part of the ride, when you reverse you're going to go through that element at the end, so that kind of makes it really difficult to make long layouts like this. And so wow, this is fantastic. So we got one inversion, got two inversions, kind of like a half corkscrew there, or kind of a strange corkscrew. So that's two. I think there's 3 inversions going both ways. So there's 6 inversions total. Is the coaster going to make it? Wow, this is great. And I mean, I love the detailing going around. This has kind of been a staple of this creator's kind of fencing that he uses. I'm using these pieces, but I think it looks really, really good. And so now let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. And we got a little transfer track here, which I love to see. Although I'd say it's not quite long enough to actually fit the coaster train in there, but I understand your with restraints and stuff. So once again, everything all green. G-forces laterals definitely higher. Um, but yeah, let's go ahead and take a ride on Wonder Woman. Wow, that was awesome. Really smooth. If there were any parts that weren't quite as smooth, we'll just blame it on the fact that it's a Vekoma coaster, an older Vekoma. But yeah, that's awesome, and I just love the look of how these look in game. I think that it's such a good job with certain coasters in game supports, and this being one of them. So I think that's a really, really good job. So now on to the next. Welcome to the next Boomerang coaster, and this is the fourth of six that we're going to look at. As you can see, this is also a Premier Rides, so this would be considered a new gen Premier Rides Boomerang. And I love the Batwing, I think. I don't know why I'm also blanking on the name of that. But this one's a little bit more straightforward than the last couple in terms of it not being overall that long of a layout. Or I guess it's really just been the last one that had a longer layout for the Boomerang. But everything looks good and smooth. So what I love here too is having the electrical outlet underneath. And you got a little cable box here, and you got stairs. And so you got all that realism, all those realism pieces built into it, plus everything's fenced off. And I do like putting those borders right there because I think that gives it an extra realistic look. And let's see. So then we look here. Ooh. So he did the trick that a lot of people started doing, which is awesome, which is placing an actual other coaster with a station underneath the ground and having it launch up to where it stops here, and it looks like you've got an extra coaster on the transfer track. So I think that's awesome. And like, look how these custom stairs look. That's great. If anybody's wondering what these are the Roman candles. The issue is, you can see this park's at 58%. So you might be saying, well, how in the world is this at 58%? Look at all that's in here. But here's the thing. The Roman candles. Let's see if there's a spot over here. There are a lot of Roman candles over here. All right, so that's 231, which generally on a PS5 would be about 1/4%, but that takes off 2%. So you see here, 231 again. That takes off 3%. So if I were to delete just all of these, so I mean, you can kind of get an idea and see it. That puts it down to about 36% from just that. And I still have all these. And so that's one thing to keep in mind if you're trying to use these firework pieces as an actual piece in the game. It takes up a lot of percent, okay? Like a lot. But yeah, so enough of me talking. Let's go ahead and look at these stats. First one where everything's not all green, but everything else looks good. So we'll chat afterwards. That was definitely another good Boomerang. But the one other thing I want to point out that I didn't point out earlier is, I love this. A way to make a custom light. That piece right there, it looks like that is an arm light, but then using the area light and using the the small half sphere, just I think is a really, really good touch. So now on to the next one. Here is the next one, and this one is a new gen Vekoma. And that's one thing that I hope in Planet Coaster 2 that they do, is that they they kind of update some of the coaster models more. Because if we wanted to do a Boomerang Vekoma coaster, it's not going to have this kind of awkward kind of look to the track. It's going to look more, obviously more newer and sleek. It's going to look like how Intamin's track has looked for a while. With that little tubular bar underneath. But once again, another good, what looks to be a good layout here for the Boomerang, is everything's kind of low to the ground. And I think this is actually like a family Boomerang, because there's no inversion. So that would be my guess. And once again, you got backstage. a lot of stuff maybe is copied from other ones, but that's okay. Because if you make something once that you are happy with and good with, why reinvent the wheel? Why waste time recreating it when you could just copy it over, right? And then here, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Maybe a bathroom or something. But yeah, so this was the new coaster, the new gen Vekoma. So let's go ahead and take a ride on it now. All right, well, here we are on the last one, and we actually have another one over this way, but I mean, this one's pretty straightforward. It's just kind of an out and back one. I love this station though, and that's actually 768 pieces for the roof, and here's why. It's literally just copying the fence. We're trying to delete it enough to where, yeah, I mean that's a lot of pieces, maybe too many. um, but oh, that gets to the very top. Let's see at night if those. Nah, I was trying to see if he made those glow. But yeah, so obviously that's another Boomerang coaster that he made, and this looks to be some very unique kind of layout invert coaster. But look at this. Now this is fantastic. So it looks like it's got a little bit of the skyrocket concept here, where you got a track above the track lower than it. Let's see. So now it's gonna go backwards. I mean, this might be the coolest one of them all. Okay, yeah, I was wondering. I was like, does it actually get over the top of that? Because I'm like, if it gets over the top of that, how does it not fall off the edge? And my question was answered. But that's awesome. Like, that is a really, really cool thing. Um, Once again, same concept there with the roof. And I like the color scheme for it. I like the supports here for the roof. That is a really cool touch and something that I'm going to have to use on another ride at some point. And we got a locker system here. So now let's look at these stats. Everything all green, which of course is great. G-force is great. And let's take a ride on the last coaster of this spotlight video. So that is the video, and we have looked at 6 different Boomerang coasters. I wonder what your favorite is, as this one was probably my favorite. So unique. I think all the Premier Ride ones were very unique with the layouts. I mean, they're all unique, but this one was just really, really fantastic. The only negative is that wouldn't be there in real life because it doesn't have anything for the supports to go. So that's the only thing I'd say to change. But this, other than that, I mean, this is absolutely phenomenal. Um, Gives me like icebreaker vibes in some ways as well, even though it's not the exact same. And I mean, it was great. Maybe came out a little bit too quick on that first part. Um, but overall, this coaster absolutely fantastic. So thank you guys so much for watching, and hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Talk to you later.